Most mortgage advice is built for people who can't save money. This video is not for them. This is for those of you who have saved $50, $100, even $200,000 inside of your offset account, or you're actively saving and you're sitting there wondering, well, what's next? But before we get started, don't forget to like the video and hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. If you're like most homeowners that I speak to, you're stacking money into your offset account thinking that paying off your owner-occupied debt is the end game. Although that might be true, you are missing a massive opportunity right in the middle. And this is where I want to introduce a concept to you that we have used with hundreds of clients called intentional deployment. This is where we take idle cash, slash your non-deductible debt, turning the tables on the bank and putting wealth creation firmly in your control. Before we start on that, we need to understand why and how does offset money get lazy. An offset account acts more like a shield than it does a sword. If you've got $200,000 sitting in your offset account and your rate is at 6%, that's a guaranteed tax-free saving on your money. That's safe and it's comfortable. But there is a problem. Your money is only performing one job. It's suppressing interest. It's not generating income and it's definitely not growing in value. And in 10 years' time, that $200,000 is the same $200,000 that you had originally, except with less purchasing power because of our good old friend inflation. Of course, using your offset facilities means that you'll be paying extra debt off along the way. But let's be honest with ourselves. How much of that offset money have we actually been dipping into over the course of 10 years? Because when we do that, we don't actually get the full effect of the offset feature because we're constantly using that money. The idea of an offset facility is great if you are disciplined. However, if we implement some strategy, sometimes you have no option but to be disciplined. But for a lot of people, this is where they get stuck. And that mistake can cost people years in their wealth creation. So the real question I want to answer is, when is offset money doing its job and when does it actually need to be redeployed? And now this is where I want to introduce you to a concept I like to call the intention cap. You don't actually need unlimited cash in the bank, despite what many of us might think. You simply need a safety net and a growth engine. So what sort of safety net do you feel like you need? For most households, we recommend 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses sitting in your offset account. So the average household will spend around $5,000 a month, a little bit more or a little bit less. What you'll do then is put 6 months of living expenses inside of your offset. So that would be around $30,000. Any dollar above $30,000, that definitely needs to be redeployed. That extra money has earned the right to have a second job, and you have earned the right to give that money a second job in building your wealth. This is the line that we draw between hoarding your cash and intention. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. You've saved up your $200,000, as you can see here, and what a lot of people will do will use that cash to fund their $650,000 investment property, because this is the natural progression for anyone who is building wealth in Australia. We go out and buy investment properties. But this is the wrong way to do it. Instead, what we do is implement a very clean 3-step loop. It is pay, split, and draw. First is the pay. You pay your $200,000 into your principal place of residence debt. In this case, you put the $200,000 onto your $600,000 debt. Then comes the split. We refinance this mortgage, so congratulations, you've paid down your PPR debt by $200,000, and then we have a split mortgage just like this. $400,000 owing against the PPR, and then we have an investment loan of $200,000. Your total debt position hasn't changed, but the intention and the purpose of your debt has. And then from there comes the final step, which is the draw. We take that $200,000 and we draw it out and use it as a deposit on our investment property. Now you might be asking, why does this work and why do people do it this way? See, your owner-occupied debt is non-deductible debt in the eyes of the tax office, but your investment debt, that is tax deductible. So on paper, although it looks like it is definitely linked, you've created two separate events. One is reducing your home loan and the other is taking out an investment loan against the security, which is your home. This is how all smart investors set themselves up from the beginning. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the tax numbers here. That's a job for your accountant. My job is to show you how to execute this strategy very cleanly, so then when you go to your accountant at the end of the financial year, they know exactly what's going on, what is deductible and what is not. And if I've made you think that you need $200,000 to actually implement this strategy, wait till you see version 2 of this. This is where people can really accelerate their wealth by using the equity inside of their properties. So this is what I want you to do. If you had that $1 million home and $600,000 owing on that property, you have usable equity. Now, usable equity is up to 80% of the value of that home. So in this case, the $1 million property, you have usable equity up to $800,000 worth of debt. So in this case, what you would then do is withdraw that $200,000 of equity in an investment split ready for you to use in your investment purchase of $650,000. See, this time we haven't used any of our cash, and yes, we have increased our debt position, but we didn't have to save that $200,000 to go ahead and start building our wealth. But let's get this straight. Just because you have the equity doesn't mean that this is automatically something that you can do. You still need to be able to qualify for the loan. That's a really important note to make. But my favorite part of this is that you've still kept your cash buffer. Maybe you've got a little bit over that intention cap that we spoke about and you want to go on a nice holiday, but you've created tax deductible debt of that $200,000. You've bought an asset that's going to be growing in value and also producing some income. The goal is not to buy properties endlessly. It's actually to buy, get some passive income and pay off your own occupied debt and live debt-free inside of your own home. But this is the end game that a lot of people miss. Over the course of a few years, you may accumulate 1, 2, or even 3 investment properties. And the idea of this is to get them to be positively geared so that you can support your cash flow leading into retirement. But what should you be doing in the lead up? Well, if your properties are positively cash flowing, what you should be doing is directing any of the excess cash into your principal place of residence debt or any debt that is for owner-occupied purposes, paying that off and retaining as much investment debt as you can in the meantime. And now you might be saying, well, all my properties are negatively geared. Well, this is for you as well. At the end of the financial year, if you have a negatively geared property, you'll have a larger than usual tax return because you have reduced your taxable income through the wonders of negative gearing. What you would then do with that tax return is angle it towards your principal place of residence debt, not go on a holiday. If you want to build long-term wealth, it takes discipline and it takes strategy. This is how the wealthy are beating the 30-year mortgage trap. It's not by buying endlessly and accumulating everything like a monopoly board. It's by structuring intentionally. Those who implement this from very early on will end up debt-free a lot quicker than those of you who are just sitting there stacking up your offset account. Now, this strategy is overall very simple to explain, but very important to implement correctly. If you want to know what intentional deployment and the pay, split, draw method looks for your numbers, book in a meeting with me. We do this with hundreds of clients every single year.